We're going to be talking about the Fallout TV show on Amazon.
Fallout is based off of a video game. You played the game before?
I have. I was a big fan of Fallout 4 in college. That was my 9 to 5. I'd punch in, and homework, girls, school, food, these were just obstacles in the way of getting to more Fallout for me.
And I kind of a little familiar with the game, but I haven't really dove too deep, if you know what I mean.
So just real quick, the Fallout series has been around since the 90s, and there have been talks to develop a TV show since 2008, after Fallout 3. Todd Howard, who is the creative director of Bethesda and kind of the overseer, if you will, of the Fallout game series, he said he was always interested in doing a Fallout show, but didn't want a, quote, doom situation, as, you know, with the Rock movie. Ugh. That all changed when he had a call with Jonathan Nolan, where he pitched his idea for his show. Quote, Howard found that Nolan had a clear vision for the adaptation and agreed this approach was a good way to bring the game series to the television screen, end quote. And I'm sure that it didn't have to do with the fact that Jonathan Nolan is brothers with Christopher Nolan. So, a little bit of background there. I mean, they've been wanting to do this for years, and now they finally did it. And short answer, I am glad that they did it with the right people, because this is great. I'll just say it's great.
Yeah, it's great. Kind of a little synopsis of it. It's a post-atomic war area where there's radiation. There's people that are in vaults that have been in the vaults for hundreds of years. There's people above ground that, you know, it's kind of wild, wild west out here.
So no Will Smith.
No Will Smith, no, not even Salma Hayek. There's people... they're kind of savages, if you will.
Barely even
They're
humans.
not very, barely human. They're not very kind to each other. They're not obeying the golden rule. It's action, comedy. I'd say it's black comedy. Would you agree with me there?
Yes, very much so.
It's not quite The Boys, where it's as gory and irreverent, if you will. It's probably it's somewhere between that and, like, Invincible, I'd say. Like, a couple steps down from The Boys, but...
It is something you will have to be careful who you recommend to, because they might come back to you and be like, what's wrong with you? You know? It's kind of a alternate timeline of Earth, where survivors took refuge in these fallout bunkers or vaults, and the main character is a vault dweller named Lucy. It takes place 200 years after the fallout and the nuclear bombs went off, where she leaves her vault, Vault 33, to venture out to save her father, who was kidnapped. She goes out to what's called the Wasteland, or the Surface World. It also follows a ghoul, just a gross, sickly, leather-faced man, played by Walton Goggins, and another storyline that follows Maximus, who is a squire from the Brotherhood of Steel. All this probably doesn't make any sense to people listening, but there's a lot going on. But kind of those are the three main parties, and shenanigans ensue. But yeah, that pretty much covers it. Non-spoilers, right?
Yeah. It's a movie that doesn't, or a show that doesn't take itself serious, like too serious. It's got that Roadhouse, and you know me, I love a show that doesn't take itself too serious. There's a lot of comedy, good action, like, you know, fun little action scenes. It starts off, you're immediately hooked, and it's not one that really drags at all.
Yeah.
So I would recommend. I'd probably give it 4 stars if you're asking me.
I'd say a 4 or 4.5 even. Just good television. Like, if you just stand it on its own, don't really think about, like, the people who are into the Fallout lore. If you're just coming into this and you just want some good television to watch, this is good television. I guess, you want to jump into spoilers now?
Yeah, let's get into spoilers here. It starts off, you have perspective of the people in the vault, which is Lucy. Her brother is Mitchell Moises.
Mitchell Moises?
Not Mitchell. Moises Aries or something like that. He was from Disney Channel.
AKA Rico.
Oh yeah,
from Hannah Montana.
You got Rico. He's there. He's her brother. It starts off. She's got a arranged wedding, and the way the vaults work is there's hundreds of vaults around, but each vault is closed off, and the only way people can get in is if someone basically lets them in, or if someone from outside has What do they call those wrist things?
It's called a Pit Boy.
Oh, Pit Boy. Basically, they have this wedding where they're like, all right, you send this, nice stud from 32 over, we'll have a nice wedding here, and he's gonna marry Lucy here. And it turns out it's a red wedding situation. They start murdering. It's a trap. This lady named
Moldaver.
She's kind of the leader of these people that are murdering. She steals Lucy's dad. And they leave. Snatch him, kidnap. So Lucy, she say, I don't care if there's radiation out there, I'm going to get Dad. And then there's another storyline of Walton Goggins as a ghoul. And he looks like, Red Skull here. He's got the chopped off nose.
Red Skull, if you will.
It's him as the ghoul. And then it does a lot of flashbacks of him before the whole thing happened, which was 200-something years earlier. So apparently the radiation will turn you into a ghoul, and that's how he's alive still. And if you have some sort of medicine, it'll keep him sane, but if he doesn't have them constantly drinking this medicine, he goes feral, goes savage. So you got his storyline, and then you got this kind of dweeb little...
That'd be nice.
I didn't really like him. What's his name? Maximus? He's with, the Brotherhood, which is...
He's kind of a militarized faction.
He's with this military people, and he's a squire. He's a little pipsqueak guy, and he's basically like the caddy for some guy in this big old marine suit.
It's called a power armor, if you will.
Power armor. And that guy's a real JURK to him. So he gets attacked by a bear, and instead of saving him, he kind of just lets him die. So he steals his armor. Which is the tactical move.
I feel like he didn't do anything wrong, if you ask me.
Yeah. Steals the armor. And then, fourth story perspective here, you got Benjamin Linus, I think his name was.
Oh, Ben from Lost, yeah.
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 He's a scientist.
He plays Ben from Lost.
Yeah. He's a scientist. Was he working for the Vault Company?
Yeah, he was working for Vault Tech on, I think, renewable, different kinds of energy.
Yeah.
He
shoots this, basically, Doc Ock, power of the sun in the palm of my hand, into his neck.
Yeah.
He shoots it in his neck, and he's trying to get to Moldaver. So is Lucy. The goal is trying to hunt Ben because there's a warrant out for his arrest. The Marines also looking for him. So that's kind of where they all meet. Mm-hmm. And then, goes off on that. She ends up teaming up with the ghoul, and they're all friends. She chops off Ben's head. It's a whole, carries his head around.
That seemed very on brand for Fallout. Just kind of like, there has to be a MacGuffin in most movies, most things. But I thought it was fun, as weird as that may sound, that the MacGuffin that everyone's after is this guy's head. And more specifically, it's not his head. He implanted the chip or the MacGuffin device in his neck, and so they've been carrying his head around, and that's what everyone's after. I thought it was very tongue-in-cheek, very, very specific and on brand with the genre, if you will. My favorite character was definitely the ghoul, Walton Goggins.
Oh, same.
Killing it in his role. The first scene in that show, fantastic. It was, gripped me. I was folding laundry while watching it. I had to stop folding laundry to watch it, because I was like, this is television. This is good. It was engaging because there's questions that come up. You're like, why won't he do the thumbs up? And it piques your interest. You need to understand. You need to follow and keep watching. So good. And his character, I loved watching his character in the past, and then contrasted into the future, and that you got to understand how he became that ghoul and the gunslinger that he is. I'd say near perfect television, if you ask me. Captured the aesthetic of Fallout, I think, really well, down to the costumes, the guns, all the details, the music, everything. The Vault Tech was really good, even down to if you're talking about flashbacks, they show a lot of fun, really impractical cars. I don't know if you noticed that. They had like sliding car doors that open up like a can opener kind of thing. Just fun stuff like that, that world build. I'm a sucker for world building, and this was building worlds 101, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I really liked about it was when you think about video game adaptations, you're thinking about like one or two things. You're like, oh man, I really would like to see this thing. And for me, I was like, I want to see like a cool like Deathclaw fight or a cool, one like mutant fight, something like that, because I like that aspect of the game. But with this, it didn't really have to rely on pandering to like certain video game tropes, and it's just got to be its own thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we're talking pandering, in your favorite movie of all time, Warcraft, it does the zoom out and like kind of moving around the screen, and you're like, they did it from the game. Remember that?
Oh yeah, that was great. I was screaming in my pants.
Just screaming in your jeans for that. No, but here, like, I like that it just kind of could stand on its own a bit, and you didn't need to have that one big moment. You're like, oh, that's from the video game. You know what I mean? I liked that. And it's just good stuff, man. I got no notes other than the ones I said, but
I just imagine looking at it, even though I'm not super familiar with the game, but I'm like, I bet you that's an Easter egg. I bet I imagine some, what do you call the people that are real into Fallout? Fallout boys? You got the Fallout boys. That's
pretty good.
They're just like, oh yeah, look at that. That's the video they show. And oh, there's the comic and blah blah blah.
I had a couple of those moments in there. I'm not a true Fallout boy, but
are you saying you're going down?
Yeah, no. No, I'm not a huge fan, but there were moments where I was like, hey, that's a cute little reference there. So it wasn't in your face about it. It was how Easter eggs should be, where it doesn't pause for 3 seconds to have the audience applause, if you know what I mean. I'm talking to you, Spider-Man. Don't come home with Tobey Maguire, you know what I mean?
Don't besmirch that. A thing that I hate in shows is when there's different characters, say like, Walking Dead or something, where they just spend a whole episode on the one character and then you just don't do anything else. And I binged this, so it probably wouldn't have been as annoying, but especially as like a week-to-week show, I'm like, I don't want to just watch one character. I don't even care who it is. I like to see going from here to this person, and it does that. Like through each episode, you're seeing all of their perspectives, what's going on. All right, let's zoom in over here, and I'm a fan of that.
Yeah, I think it helps with pacing. Like you said, if you're a Walking Dead and you follow one character, you're like, let's move it up a little bit. Let's get things going. And I want to thank people at Amazon, the good folks at Amazon, for having the good sense, the good wherewithal to release all of this at once. Thank you.
Thank you.
Because, that's what people want. Just release it all at once. I don't know what this week-to-week business is. But, yeah, no, I totally agree that having different characters following their arts and I love a converging storyline. I love when they all come together. And I think for the most part that happened.
I love coming together.
Yeah. I can't say enough good things about this, honestly.
Thanks for watching these highlights from our episode of the Stale Popcorn Podcast. If you want to listen to the full episode, click on the link in the description. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you do that with your favorite YouTuber, I'm sure they would appreciate it too. Thanks, and have a great day.